The vote ended at 7:42 a.m. I remember because the clock on the conference room wall ticked too loudly, like it was counting down something none of them understood yet. "Unanimous," my father-in-law said, folding his hands. He didn't look at me. None of them did. My wife stared at the polished table like it might crack open and swallow her whole. I smiled. That was the moment everything shifted. The smile unsettled them. It wasn't anger, it wasn't shock, it was calm, surgical. They thought they had just taken my company. At 7:58 a.m., my phone vibrated once in my pocket. Confirmed. At 8 a.m., my wife's brother tried to log in to the executive dashboard. At 8:01, the system rejected him. At 8:02, their lawyer went pale. Sheet white, the kind of white you see right before someone asks a question they already know the answer to but are praying they're wrong about. "What did you do?" my wife whispered. I didn't answer. I stood, straightened my jacket, and walked out of the room I built brick by brick, code commit by code commit, night after sleepless night. Behind me, the screaming started. They always said marriage was about trust. What they meant was control. When I married into her family, I mistook their warmth for acceptance. Dinners, laughter, investment advice. They called it guidance. They framed it as support. I let them sit in meetings, let them review documents, let them buy small stakes. I told myself it was harmless. The first crack appeared 6 months ago. A glance exchanged too quickly, a meeting rescheduled without me, my wife's phone lighting up at night, silenced, face down, always during dinner. I didn't accuse, I observed. Betrayal doesn't announce itself, it leaks. Her father started questioning my decisions in front of the board. Her brother positioned himself as stability. My wife stopped defending me. She started using phrases that weren't hers. Maybe they're right. That was when I knew. Not about the vote, about her. I found the emails first. Not infidelity, worse. Strategy. Legal language wrapped in affection. Plans to protect the family asset. I was the variable, the risk. The company I built wasn't ours, it was theirs, and I was in the way. I didn't confront them. I tightened my routines, smiled more, played the grateful son-in-law. Inside, I compartmentalized. I pulled access logs at night, tracked document views, monitored calendar overlaps. Patterns emerged, meetings without me, legal consultations labeled as family trusts. I hired an outside firm under a shell name, quiet, efficient, no paper trail back to me. They confirmed what I already suspected. A vote was coming. They were consolidating shares through proxy agreements. My wife had signed one. She didn't tell me. She didn't have to. Her silence was the signature. I began moving faster, liquidated personal assets, set up escrow, triggered a clause they'd forgotten existed, one I'd buried early when the company was small and I was paranoid. Right of first sale. They never thought I'd use it. Why would I? This was my life's work. That's what betrayal teaches you. Your life's work is just leverage to someone else. The night before the vote, my wife slept beside me, breathing evenly as if nothing was wrong. I stared at the ceiling and felt nothing. That scared me more than anger ever could. The confirmation came at 2:13 a.m. All shares transferred, funds cleared, ownership reassigned. I sat at the kitchen table in the dark and watched the sun rise. When she came down, she looked tired, guilty, relieved. "It's going to be okay," she said softly, like she was comforting a child. I slid my phone across the table. The transfer document glowed on the screen. She didn't scream. She collapsed into the chair, hands trembling. "You can't," she started. I already did. Tears followed, apologies, explanations about family pressure, about fear, about love twisted into obligation. I listened, I always listened, but this time I heard only strategy wrapped in emotion. When I stood, she reached for me. I stepped back. That was the last time she touched me. The boardroom was chaos when I returned. My father-in-law shouted about injunctions. My brother-in-law threatened lawsuits. The lawyer couldn't stop sweating. "You sold to them?" he asked, disbelief cracking his voice. I nodded. Their fiercest rival, the one they'd mocked, undervalued, dismissed. Turns out they respected talent more than blood. "You ruined us," my wife said. I shook my head. "No," I replied. "You replaced me. I just made it permanent." Silence fell. I handed the lawyer a folder. Inside, emails, signatures, proxy votes, every betrayal documented. Perfectly legal, perfectly executed. "You taught me how this game works," I said. "I just learned faster." Security escorted them out, not me. I walked away with more money than I'd ever need, and less emotion than I thought possible. The company will grow without me. They always do. People mistake creation for ownership. They mistake love for loyalty. I didn't lose anything that day. I reclaimed clarity. As for my wife, she texts sometimes, apologies that arrive too late, like rain after the fires already burned the house down. I don't respond. Some lessons only work once, and some smiles are the last warning you ever get.